Namaste and welcome to the series on corporate governance. In our day-to-day life, we always talk about values and ethics. But do we really implement it? I mean, it's highly impossible to think of a situation like getting a ration card or a driving license or registration of property without paying any bribe. If that is the case of a common person like you and me, then just imagine what would be happening with a business house which has to get permission from hundreds of agencies, and that too in time and without paying any bribe.
I think it's not just business. We used to have an economy which had perennial shortages. For example, to get a gas cylinder, you had to wait in a queue. To get a telephone connection, to get a car, just about anything. And when there are shortages, shortcuts do take place. I have seen that in the West also. When tickets are not available for a show, black market comes up. I'm not justifying it, but I'm saying that does happen. We were all hoping that with our economy opening up, corruption will go down. But unfortunately, I don't see that it's come down. To be honest, requires a lot of effort. For example, I want to go to Tanzania, and for that I need a yellow fever injection. I'm told that unless I'm willing to pay 1,000 rupees, I will not get it, and I might be sent to Chennai. I might be told it's in short supply, but if I'm willing to pay 1,000, that injection will materialize. Now, it's very difficult for an individual to stick to her principle and say, I will not make this trip if I have to pay 1,000 rupees. A lot of people will take a shortcut.
Corruption exists everywhere. The point is, should we accept it or should we find a way to fight against it? At the same time, we also talk about ethics, whether they are at the individual level or at the corporate level. The concepts of governance and responsibility are always also spoken about. But the point is, have we understood what they really mean?
Now, what is a good governance? A good governance means transparency in the transactions, honesty in reporting, integrity of people who are working in the organization, and people-friendly approach so that everyone or anyone who wants to know about the company, he can approach the company and he can know how a company is performing.
To me, corporate social responsibility means that you give back to the society from which you take so much. Any corporate draws so much from any community, and a part of it, a small part at least, needs to be given back to society in terms not just money, but involvement of people, governance, looking after its employees, customers, supplier chain. To me, all that is part of CSR.
Corporate social responsibility is a widely discussed topic today. It deals with how companies manage their business practices effectively such that they create a positive impact on the society at large. It also addresses issues about a company's continual commitment towards behaving ethically while achieving economic growth. The issue is, does economic growth, profits, and ethics go hand in hand?
Ethics is the discipline of what is right or wrong, what is good or bad, the moral duty and obligations. Business ethics, on the other hand, concerns with truth and justice in business and its decisions. The various decisions that are made in the business, like decisions with respect to HR. In HR, to be more specific, when we are talking about maybe a case of sexual harassment, wherein an employee, a very important employee, is to be retained or is to be eased off because he has involved himself in a sexual harassment misconduct. Or it can be in the case of marketing decisions, where we suppress certain facts about a product, or we overemphasize on the benefits of a product to a less informed customer. It can be in the case of the production function, wherein we do not incorporate all the safety features that are required for a product, okay, as per its designs.
The corporate governance has become a major issue because some companies are adopting unhealthy practices and have become manipulative just to earn more profits or to remain in the field of competition. As a result, we find that the corporate governance has become the need of the hour, and good practices are to be followed by the companies so that the stakeholders are not deceived. We have today the example of Satyam. Satyam gave a shock to all its stakeholders in such a way that everyone started worrying whether they should invest in the corporates or not. And here only we can see the earlier Satyam gave a shock, but when the Satyam governance was transferred to a new team, we find a total change today. And the change today is that Satyam has posted profits despite crisis. So when there is a crisis of identity, crisis of character, and the crisis of quality, the corporate governance comes to our rescue.
There are various dimensions to corporate social responsibility. From the past, business organizations have been showing concern towards the society.
About 4 years ago, Thermex's board decided to put aside 1% of profit after tax and create a foundation. 3 years ago, we decided to focus on education for the underprivileged. So if each organization takes up a cause which is critical to our country, it would be wonderful.
The roots of corporate social responsibility can be traced back to the Indian religion and philosophy, which has always laid stress on karma, that is purpose rather than self. Even the Arthashastra provides an inside-out perspective of corporate social responsibility, which is development of the leader's self-conscience as contrasting to the Western philosophy.
Our Shastras and Puranas have always laid emphasis on our own human duties, while the Western world speaks about human rights. If we Indians perform our duties, then the issue of addressing others' human rights is always achieved.
Can you imagine the story of a person living in Belgaum in Karnataka state who is doing successfully business for the last 25 years with a turnover of more than 40 crores and not paying bribe of a single rupee?
Generally, people do business with lot of compromises, adjustments. And what are these adjustments? The adjustments are like generation of black money, evasion of tax, planning for tax. So these are so many adjustments which people normally do. We were also doing the same thing because everybody thought this is the way to do business. We also thought this is the way to do business. But something happened in 1983 and the results came in 1986. So I decided that from 1986 onwards, if at all I do business, I will do it ethically. Otherwise, I will forget this business. small and I was supplying to big industries. How they were exploiting the small scale industries, and when I started growing, I decided that I will not exploit my suppliers. My suppliers don't have to chase for their payments. On the second of the next month, 100% payment goes to their doors without fail for last so many years. My suppliers do not spend time on recovery of their payments from polyhedron. That's the biggest advantage. They can use their time for productive purpose.
You'll be surprised to know there is no inspection mechanism when the suppliers deliver raw material in the organization. In fact, there is no quality control department at all, but still they have been able to maintain quality. This is because Mr. Hundre believes on trust. His philosophy is that if we start the practice of trusting people, they will work from their heart. And if we succeed in winning their hearts, then there is no need of any supervision or quality control. There are no supervisors and everybody is responsible for his own unit. Each participant of the ashram can take leave as per mutual convenience. There is no electronic timekeeping as well in the organization. There seems to be tremendous self-control and a rich level of trust in this business ashram.
The employees in this business ashram, they work as if they are working in an ashram. There is no supervision, there is no policing. The people work with their intrinsic desire to produce, and the efficiency of this organization is very high, or much more above the normal efficiencies of an engineering industry.
However, in his endeavor to achieve high ethical standards, Mr. Hundre has not left back the management concepts. He has introduced the new management concepts in his own way, just like the ABC system, the Kanban card system, Kaizen, just in time, or the Six Sigma.
They are using the techniques not only in words but in spirit. Take for example 5S. It so happened that when I went there, it was Friday evening, and I was just asking people how they do 5S. People told me that every Saturday, half day is used by each and every employee, Karma Yogi as they call him. Every Karma Yogi uses that half day for cleaning his place of work. Now this is 5S and it is implemented in spirit. Take another technique which is often used, and that is called JIT, just in time. Now just in time is a technique. It is essentially for procurement of material. But what I found was that each and every employee in the organization knew what JIT means, because the levels are known, exactly the orders are placed at that moment of time, and no amount of investment is locked up in the stocks. So this is another technique which has been very effectively used. Six Sigma, for example, is essentially for improving the accuracy, improving the quality of work. Now all this is being implemented by Mr. Hundre. Take another example. We talk so much about employee empowerment, but do we really find like that? Can we expect that an employee at his own initiative will say, I love my company? I doubt. Because really, people are forced to do things, then it's not empowerment. For example, here in Polyhedron, I found that employees or Karma Yogis don't have to apply for the leave. What does it mean? That tremendous amount of trust is built into the organization. For example, a particular employee, if he is taking a leave for 2 days, it means that he has already decided how to make use of that time, and the work will not suffer, though he will be able to perhaps enjoy the leave. Now this is great and this is very outstanding.
The wealth distribution system in the organization is also very ideal. The ratio between the top 20% and the bottom 20% has to be 4:1. Therefore, any raise in the top management would result in a raise in the salary and wages of the lower levels. This can easily be verified as all concerned parties have an access to the balance sheet of the organization. Thus, there is an open door policy and complete transparency in the working of the organization.
After practicing ethics for a long time and establishing the truth that you can be honest and you can still make money, not only money, you can create a lot of wealth by practicing ethics. Once I got convinced that the experiment is almost successful, I started searching for a solution beyond ethics. And I came across a thought of Swami Vivekananda which says, Western efficiency and dynamism, if combined with Indian spiritual values, will produce the best management system in the world. I started thinking about this idea and started conceptualizing a business which integrates spirituality.
To spread the philosophy of Swami Vivekananda amongst the members of Polyhedron, Mr. Hundre has installed 2 Dhyan Mandirs in the premises of the factory. Employees can practice Dhyan Dharana for self-empowerment and self-enlightenment.
I just met one of my employees who has been paralyzed because of a spinal cord problem. He has been in bed for last more than 6 months. I went and saw him yesterday. I asked him, how do you manage? He says, I have been operated, I am recovering fast. Then I asked him, do you get any help from the ESI office? Are you getting the deserved ESI benefit from the office? He said, I am getting it. I asked him, how do you manage? The employee said, on the first day, I went and told the ESI officer that I work for Polyhedron and I will not pay bribe or I do not want to compromise anything. If at all you can do it, please do it. If you cannot do it, please give me in writing that you cannot do it. Then we will see what is to be done. This tells me that most of the employees, I cannot once again say 100%, but most of the employees have taken this to their heart.
The example of SureshHundre has shown us that even a common man like you and me can stand up against corruption and succeed.